So in this video I'm going to show you how to create this printed, cut and folded tray sign using our JFX 200 EX printer and our JWEI JCUT cutter. So this is how we set up the artwork for our ACM trays. I am in Adobe Illustrator at the moment, and as you can see I've got a fully set up job in front of me, but what I'll do is I'm just going to split it apart so we can see how I've set it up. So I have my artwork. If I just turn off these layers here, so this is my artwork. I also then have my cut lines, so this is just my outer cut line. This is my V-notch, so this is where it's going to do the groove on the ACM tray, and that's them together. Then my print, and then I've got my reg mark layer as well separately. So the reg mark is just 6mm dots, literally just 6mm circles, which I have then used my spot color reg marks for. The cut line is just a standard stroke. I've just got 1 point, absolutely fine. And then I've used the line cut or the spot color cut for. Same with the V-notch, just this time with a V-notch spot color. Now, these can be whatever you like. They don't have to follow my naming conventions. All you have to do then is just change them when we get into OptiScout. And then we've got our print layer, which is just our artwork and our reg marks there as well. So now to save this job out, we need to save two different files. We need to send a print file and we need to save a cut file. So to save my print file, I'm going to turn off my cut lines, but leave my reg marks on and leave my print on. I'm going to go File, Save As. And I'm going to create the name in there and save the job. And I always make sure I name it print and then name the other one cut as well and save that. Once that's been saved, I then do the same but with the cut lines. So turn the print off and then have my cut lines only. Now on this one I do also like to delete the print job out of there. This makes our file size a lot smaller and it makes it a lot easier for OptiScout to deal with. So same again, File, Save As, but this time it's going to be cut. Save that. And that's done. So now we've got a print file, we've got a cut file that are both ready to go. So that's our artwork done. Now it's on to print the job. So now I need to set up my ACM on my Mimaki JFX 200 EX printer. So as you can see, I've already put my pins in to the right place on the bed. Now this is thicker than 3mm, so I can utilize those pins. So I'm going to bring the board over, get it into position, so it's locked in position on both sides now, ready to go. So next thing I'm going to do is just check my corners and make sure everything is completely flat, which it really is. Then I need to do my head height on this machine, so I'm going to go to Function, down to Head Height, then I'm going to go to Thickness Check, and then Enter. That's going to turn my vacuum on, and it's then going to bring the print head out as well so we can do the height check. As you can see, head's going to come out, and then the little red laser pointer is just there. I need to put that on top of my material. So to do that, I'm going to use my arrow keys. That's going to bring the head towards us. And then I'm going to use my left arrow key to bring it onto the bed. I'm going to press Enter. That's now going to bring the head to where that laser pointer was. It's going to use the pin underneath. Drop down, there it is. To then do the height for us. So it's now found the thickness, it's all good. So I'm going to press enter. Now the thickness came out just then at 2.9. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to add just a little bit on there just so I know that it's going to clear the 3. Now to add that little bit extra, once it's finished this, all I'm going to do is go up 1 to media thickness, enter on that one, and there you go, 2.9. So just going to add a couple of points, enter, enter, and that's done. So I can now press end, and then I'm going to put the machine in remote so it's ready to go. So we now need to set up our print job in Mimaki Rasterlink to be printed on our Mimaki JFX 200EX printer. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to go to File, Open, then find my print job, press OK. We're going to bring it in, we're going to make sure that it goes on the JFX 200. I've got 2 printers in here, so I'm going to press OK. That's just going to process the job now. And there's our print job. So I'm going to click on the print job, and then I can go down my side panel and I can sort out my settings. So this is just a property, so we don't need to do anything in there. This is arrangement, so this is where if we're bringing multiple jobs in at the same time to be printed on the same material, this is where we'll do it. Then we've got our quality tab. Now in here I'm going to choose the quality, and I'm just going to print this pretty quick. So 600 by 600 should be absolutely fine. I could change it over to aluminium as well, so it's on die bond. There we go. So that's set up, ready to go in there. I'm not printed any white or anything like that, so it's all good. This is my crop. So if I was cropping the job down, I could do that in here. And then this is my general print settings. So in here, I'm going to define sort of my material size and all that sort of thing. So we can see our scaling, 100% obviously is how I want to leave it. Only 1 copy. Under my print area, I do have a board set up for 1000 by 700, and you'll see that it's now centered my job onto my 1000 by 700 board. Everything else is set up, ready to go. And that's it. So I'm going to go to my execution tab. And then I've got rip and print, and I'm going to press start. You can now see it's ripping the job. There you go. That's that process done. And you can now see it's printing. Then it will come up with this. Now this is for your UV lamps. So to check our positioning of our UV lamps, we can press OK once we've done that. And then it will send the job off to print. So that's now going to start printing. So the machine is in remote, so it's going to start printing straight away for us. And there you go, that has now completed printing, so that is now ready to cut. So, machine is still currently in remote. I'm going to click my local button, turn off the vacuum, and then I can take my job to my cutter. So now I'm going to put my job on my cutter. So I'm going to ensure that it's the right way round. So I'm looking at my registration marks. I've got double dots on this one, so I know that it's the right way round according to the job on my screen. So there's a few things that I need to set up. One of them being obviously making sure that my vacuum zones are correct. So I need to have this one, and this one on. And also making sure I've got a sacrificial mat underneath this job as I'm going to be using the router. So I'm going to go into JWEI. Let's have a look at our suction window down here. So they are correct. And then if I go back to operation window, I'm going to go to change router. I'm going to go tool magazine cover, which is going to open the cover of our tool magazine just there. And then I'm going to go tool magazine seat, which is then going to lift up the seat. So then I can check my bits are in the right place. So I'm going to be using a bit from position 2, position 3, and position 6. So this is my V-cut bit that I'm going to be using, just like that. That's going to go in position 6 like that, and you can see it's also got one of these rings on it, and that's because it doesn't have one of these little brass ones like the JWEI bits do. So that just goes on, and we just tighten that up with an Allen key. Back in position 6. The bit I'm going to be using in position 3 is a 6mm bit, and that's for my registration marks. And then position 2 has a 4mm bit in there, which is actually currently in the machine. I can see that there. So that's all good to go. I'm happy that all the bits are correct. So just to get rid of those really quickly, I'm just going to press cancel, and then that will shut and close my cover. So I don't need to set any temporary origins or anything like that in there. So all I need to do now is just set up my job in OptiScout, and then that will be ready to go. So now we need to set up our cut job in OptiScout. So first of all, I need to import my file. So file import, I put my job on the desktop just here. As you can see, I've got a preview of the job just down here. Now, if you don't have the preview, just check the little preview box. I'm going to press open. Now you can see that I need to basically turn my job around so it matches the job that's on my table. So I'm going to click on my flip axis button there. Now all I need to do is 0 that job, so it's down in my origin down here. So to do that, I like to just go up here and press 0, 0, and then enter. So that's now 0'd. Next thing I like to do is just check my registration marks. So they are a circle with a crosshair through them. That means that they are actually registration marks, and they're on this layer up here, reg marks. So if I turn that off by pressing the little eye icon, there you go, they've all disappeared. So there's my reg mark layer. Let's have a look at our cut layer. So in my cut, I have got just these ones. So if I just turn those off, turn that back on again, that's perfect. And in my V-notch, I've got those ones there. So now I need to set my order of my layers. So I'm going to click and hold on the cut layer, and I'm going to drag it down so it's below my V-notch. I need it to be reg marked, V-notch second, and then cut. I then need to choose a material. So I'm going to go up to my material library, and I'm going to choose ACM just there like that. So you can see that I've got select method on this V-notch, and that's because the wording, so the V-notch in my material database is different. So it's V-notch without a little hyphen between it and with a capital N. So that means it's not automatically picked up that layer. But it's fine because we can assign it by just clicking where it says select method and then choosing V-notch. So now we have reg mark layer, we have our V-notch layer, and we have our cut layer. Just going to expand this out a bit on the side, make it a bit easier to see. So we now need to look at our settings for those two layers. So I'm going to go into my V-notch layer by clicking on the green icon. And then here we have our settings. So it's important for us to ensure that we're using the correct tool position. So we've already determined that the V-notch is in position 6, which is perfect. For this one, we're going to be running at 40,000 RPM, so that's how fast the bit is going to be spinning. A rapid speed of 500, so that's when it's not cutting, that's how fast it moves when it's not cutting. Speed down on 50, that's how fast it moves when it is cutting. Z speed lift and lowering of 100, 100, so it's going to lift up out of the material at 100 and then into the material at 100. Then we've got Z position up of 20, that means it's going to sit 20 mil above the bed when it's not cutting. We've told it we have a material thickness of 3 mil, which is correct. Milling depth of 2.3 mil, so that means it's only going to go basically 2.3 into the material. The maximum depth per pass of 2.3, so it's going to do it in one hit. Depth for the last pass is 0, we're not adding any last passes or anything like that, so that's all good. Down position offset is added depth, we don't need to do that on this job. Dynamic tool diameter compensation is turned off because this is a single line. And tool diameter is 0.45 degrees on this bit. Still cutting on the outside. Orientation is clockwise, that just means which way round the job it's going to go. We're not doing any start tool paths, cleaning paths, or any bridges on this job. So that's brilliant. So we can press apply on that one. Then if we go to our cut layer, we then need to look at which cutting bit we're going to use. So again, that's all good. So tool position is in 2, so that's a 4 mil bit, which is perfect. Then we've got a spindle RPM, 60,000, rapid speed of 500, speed down of 40. I'm going to change that 60,000 just to 45,000. That should be okay. Rapid speed 500, speed down of 40, lift of 100, lowering of 100, position up again 20 mil, material thickness is 3, milling depth is 3, max depth per pass is 3. So it's 3 mil, we're going to do it in one pass. I've got a little bit of an extra down position offset, so just a 0.5 just to help us go through a little bit better. Dynamic tool diameter compensation is now ticked because that's how it's going to work out where it's going to go on the outside of the line. 4 mil router bit, and it's on the outside, and everything else is left as it is. I'm going to press apply on that one. So you now see we've got this little warning triangle. That's just because I've changed one of the settings that was in our database. So the next thing we need to do is set up a tool for our reg marks, and that's because we're going to be cutting these. So I'm going to go for cut because we're going to be cutting them. I'm going to go into here. Now for this one, because we want 6 mil reg marks, we're going to go for position 3, which is a 6 mil bit. And I'm going to leave everything else as it is, other than that, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to press apply on that. Now you'll see that we don't have the macro currently for flipping the job, so I'm going to import that. So if I go to materials, here we've got this little down arrow, I'm going to press plus on import macro. So I'm just going to navigate to find that. So here are my macros. I'm just going to open those. So we've got drill. And I'm going to do the same then for the one without drill. There we go. So now I have my macros. I can just drag these around so I can use them in the right place. So the job is now set up. All we need to do is we need to output it, and we're going to be using this one, which is cutting from backside, mirror X, drill. And I'm going to click on the execute macro button there. So I'm going to press output. Then it's going to find our registration marks. There we go. So I'm going to use my arrow keys on my keyboard. And I'm going to press enter. So then the head's going to go over to our tool changer and change our tool over to our 6 mil router bit, and that's going to route out our registration marks. There you go, it's now measured the height of that tool. It's now going to go off and cut our reg marks. So that's just drilling our reg marks. And that's that part of the job done. On the screen now it's saying to flip the material in the y-axis, so I just need to pick that material up. You can hear that the vacuum's gone off as well. I'm going to flip my job over just like that. So then I'm going to press OK to say I've done that. It's now going to come back up with the camera screen. Now you'll notice that the head has actually gone back to where it scanned the mark last time, so if it had been a bit better I could have actually moved that into the correct place and this would have just carried on straight away. I just now need to find my reg mark again. So enter to say yeah, confirmed. It's then going to go round, find the rest of the reg marks, and then it's going to start cutting. So first it needs to pick up that V-cut bit. So it's changing from the 6mm to the V-cut bit now. And there we go, we can see it's now starting to V-cut our job. Now it's going to change the route bit over from the V groove bit, and it's going to go back now to a 4mm bit, and then it's going to do the full through cut. There you go, it's measured the route a bit, now it's sending the rest of the file for the cut line. There we go. Now I've let the rest of those cut, I can then take these out, lift that out like that, and you'll see there's our job. So that's now ready to be folded, just like that. And that's how we do our folded tray sign using our JFX 200EX and our JWEI JCUT cutter.